All right, everybody, Brian Engelman here with the New American Media and the Unhappy Hour. Yes, it is an unhappy hour for Cavalier fans. Down 2-0 against the nemesis Golden State Warriors. It's a scenario, it's a situation that we've seen before. Cavs have been through this and come out on the championship side at the end of it before. We've watched this movie, we've seen the script, but it still doesn't feel great being down 0-2, so that's why I figured we'd bring in Zak Baris, lifelong Cleveland sports fan, former NBA scout and consultant, into the program and talk about some of this stuff. Zach, talk us off of the bridge. What are you seeing in these first two games?
Well, my first question is, are you on the 480 bridge? Which bridge are you on?
Well, I'm out here in L.A., so I'm probably on that really neat one, headed out of town, right out of downtown, on the 10 East.
Okay. So now I know what bridge you're on. I just want to know how quick it's gonna, how big the drop is.
Gotcha.
Let's put it this way. I'm not shocked at what's happened the first two games. I mean, how can you be? Games are in Golden State. Obviously, the Cavaliers have gotten great play from two players only, and the rest has been complete crap. Kevin Love and LeBron look amazing. Kyrie's not there. Tristan Thompson left his body back, left something back in Cleveland because, he's nowhere to be found. Steph Curry's out rebounding him. And really, Golden State only has two players that look great too. However, our bench has just been terrible. The rest of the starting up, JR's been horrible. Darren Williams is a negative 7.9 PER, if that's even possible. To be that bad. To even have one below 5, you need to be horrendous. And, they're not getting effort out of anyone. Tristan Thompson looks terrible. Kyrie Irving hasn't looked great. Really, in order to beat this Warriors team, we witnessed last year, all we needed last year was Kyrie and LeBron to be at their best last year, and they beat them. They didn't need Kevin Love to be at his best. This year, Kevin Love's been at his best. Kevin Love's been fantastic. And, you need Kyrie to be there too. You need JR to stop playing all over the place. It's been nothing but a liability. Shumpert to stop shooting. Kyle Korver to start making his threes. Channing Frye not to look completely lost on the defensive end when he's in the game. And Golden State just making switches. So it's just, setting picks at the top of the key and drawing switches from the Cavs on every possession. And the Cavaliers don't know what they're doing.
How can that be at this point? 3 years we've faced them in the finals.
You know what? But this is the difference. We witnessed it last year. They got their asses kicked the first two games.
Yep.
And Brian, I was like, I don't know if you know the app called Time Hop.
Yeah.
I use it. I check it every morning, like when I wake up, and I look at mine today. And let me go through it right now. Let's see if I can pull it up. Let me see what my tweets were from this day a year ago. They were pretty funny, so I figured I'd bring them up.
Yeah, by the way, while Zach does that, I'll stall and give him a little bit of time. If you're not following him on Twitter, he's at ZBaris. That's ZBaris. And, of course, if you're not following us in The Unhappy Hour, you need to go into Facebook and do a search for the group, The Unhappy Hour Sports Radio Show. It's a private group. If we can confirm you're either an Indians, Cavs, Browns, or Buckeye or Blue Jacket fan, we're going to let you into the club, and it's a great place to be this time of year. So hopefully that stalled enough to get Zach to get time.
Yeah, I got it. So the first one I got is, this game has me feeling like I was just punched in the stomach. This is a total effing disaster. We look completely lost. Couldn't have been more wrong about tonight. Then it gets, let's see, where
then
else?
It gets serious.
I just don't have it in me right now to even be upset. Thanks for that, Cavs. I can't believe we have 2 more games of this shit coming up. Might as well ruin my week right now. We don't even belong on the same floor as the Warriors. So pathetic. During the game, good thing there's a South Park marathon on Comedy Central right now. If I wasn't going to games 3 and 4, I probably wouldn't even bother watching on TV. This is that bad. So those are mine from a year ago today. Okay? So let's take it and put it into perspective for just a quick second. We all panicked last year. They came out in game 3 and whooped them.
Yeah, we did.
Now, I think this Golden State team is much better, but if Cleveland can get their act together and Kyrie comes out tomorrow night and plays, Cleveland can win that game, and they will win that game if Kyrie gets focused and did what he did last year in the final 3 games of that series, Cleveland will win it. tomorrow night.
We haven't played a good game.
I mean, on Wednesday night.
Yeah, we haven't played a good game in the series yet. We look really. It's going to take our best effort, and we haven't shown our best effort yet.
Exactly. And the thing is about Golden State is you need to play perfect basketball to beat them. We've witnessed it. You make a lot of mistakes. You don't drain your open shots. You're going to get beat. They are the reason why they are in the championship for the third straight year coming out of the West is because they played nearly perfect basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we witnessed it 2 years ago. A healthy Cavs team probably would have beaten them. Probably. I'm not saying they would have, but probably. The fact that an unhealthy team without Love and Kyrie still took them to 6 games was pretty impressive. And there were a bunch of injuries on the Cavs' end. Last year, the fact that Cleveland figured them out, it seemed like, in games 5, 6, and 7, and even game 3. And game 4, game 4, they just blew it at the end. It was a close one throughout the night, and Golden State pulled away. Golden State is one of those teams that are extremely quick, and they have the ability, they're a good defensive team, a great defensive team, that can easily go on a 10-14-0 run and put you away like that. We've witnessed it 2 nights in a row. 2 games in a row now we've witnessed it with them. The Cavaliers are hanging in there at halftime, and all of a sudden, Cleveland can't make a shot. Golden State goes on a ridiculous run. Cavs are out of the game both nights in a row.
Yeah, we hang with them for a while, but, you nailed it. They're missing a lot of these open shots.
They're taking bad low percentage shots too. They also can't seem to buy a call in the first 2 games. But we had that problem 2 years ago, and we had that problem last year as well.
Yeah, I'm starting to get on the referees at this point. Those 50-50 calls, I mean, it seems like 80% of them are going against us, if not more than that.
Again, Golden State, people might think they have this wrapped up, but it's not wrapped up. If Cleveland goes down 3-0, it's wrapped up, and we can call it a series from there. Cleveland's not going to reel off 4 straight after win. It's just not going to happen. Cleveland has to win Game 3. This is a must-win for the Cavaliers to win the series. You have to. And I'm going to say this too. You've got to win Games 3 and 4 to get this, because you don't want to give Golden State this year the momentum going up 3-1. On their home floor with Durant there. It's not the same as last year. It's just not the same.
How much of a difference does Kevin Durant make on that team?
So you take a 73-9 team that had the greatest record ever and lost in the final seconds of Game 7 in the NBA Finals, and you had Kevin Durant to it. You tell me how much better it makes it. He's the second best player in the NBA. I mean, literally. That's how. Credit to the Warriors though for what they did in assembling that roster. Credit Bob Myers for putting that team together, and credit Jerry West. It's not the Warriors' fault. It's nobody's fault, other than the fact the Warriors had the cap space to go out and get Durant, and they said, "Oh, we're not going to have Durant. We want to make our team. We don't want to do that. We don't want to destroy the competitive balance." The goal in this league is to win as many championships as possible. If the Cavaliers had an opportunity to go and get Chris Paul this season without having to give up anything this offseason, are you telling me they wouldn't do it? No, hell yeah, they would do it.
Of course.
That's the thing about it. Anytime you have the chance to add a talented piece to your basketball team without having to give up anything or give up minimal talent in return, of course you make that move. You want to be perfect.
Now remind us what position they were in financially, them being the Warriors, that they were able to pull this off. Reset us back to where they were at and how they managed to get this done. So they got
very, very fortunate by signing Steph Curry to an an undervalued deal a few years ago, where he was only making $11 million. I think he was making about $10-11 million a year. And that allowed him to do it. They had a bunch of free agents. They renounced the rights to some other guys. They had a ton of cap room because they had guys like Maurice Spates. His contract was up. You had Festus Ezeli. They were able to trade Andrew Bogut. Harrison Barnes was a free agent. Otherwise, that money would have been spent on Harrison Barnes. So they did the right thing. They let Barnes walk, and essentially for the money they would have paid Barnes, they paid it to Durant.
So then how long...
And Barbosa went to Phoenix. Literally all the cards just played right. From Bob Myers is a hell of a GM.
So then how long is Durant under contract? When does Steph get paid? When does this get complicated?
So Durant is only under contract this year. Durant will wind up re-upping. My guess is for another year, 2 years, 3 years. I don't know what he's going to do. But he will re-up in Golden State, and then Steph Curry will seek out close to a max contract, if not max. I don't know what he plans on doing, but it will be close to a max, either way. So Golden State will be way up in the luxury tax with those guys. I mean, that's why I said during the season, it doesn't hurt to explore a trade where you go and move Klay Thompson and Draymond Green for the likes of an Anthony Davis. Because it allows you to keep that core together for a long time. You've got your 3 core players locked up, maxed out, and you don't have to worry about going way over there. And you'd have 2 of the top 5 basketball players in the NBA on your team. There's 3 of them. I'm sorry, 3 of the top 5.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's why I think it's something that I'm not saying they're going to explore it this offseason. I'm not saying they will.
You like that in your trade calculator in the game you play. You've said that for a while. That would be a pretty fun.
I made it work. There were obviously some other pieces I plugged into it, obviously, but the framework of the deal, the 3 players that Golden State would give up would be Sean Livingston. It was Sean Livingston, Draymond Green and Klay Thompson, and then in return they would receive Anthony Davis and Tyreek Evans. Also, I did the framework of a second deal involving the LA Lakers, involving what would now be, basically D'Angelo Russell and the number 2 overall pick in the draft, where New Orleans would get more talent and the Lakers would get Klay Thompson out of it.
Huh.
So New Orleans would wind up with Draymond Green, and they would wind up with D'Angelo Russell or Brandon Ingram. I had Ingram originally in the trade, but Magic Johnson said he's untradeable. So I had Brandon Ingram in there.
He's the only one that Magic wants to hold on to. The rest, it's all up for exploration.
Yes. So, I mean, you see that, and you go, okay, New Orleans gets Draymond Green and Klay Thompson, or, in scenario 2, they're getting Draymond Green and the number 2 overall pick. And then it allows LA to get their superstar. Next year they can go out and sign Paul George. It allows LA to go do what they have to do. That just depends how you want to rebuild. I'm not saying that's the way to go, but I'm saying it's just one of the options. I'll wind up playing again with the trade machine in a couple weeks. But those are the options you have. You can go and move guys like that. And I'm not saying that the Warriors will. I think the Warriors want to keep their core intact. However, there's no guarantee on either end what's going to happen. Right. But if I'm Golden State and I want to have the longevity of my roster, I want to have my, fulfilled. I'm taking a young Anthony Davis. It sucks to give up Draymond and Klay because Draymond's really the heart of that team. But Anthony Davis, I mean, just imagine him next to Durant and Curry. I mean, just Jesus.
That would be pretty imposing for sure.
I mean, if you want to even improve a roster now, I don't know how much it would improve it, but it would definitely improve it. I don't know. I mean, you give up 2 very, very great, very good players. But again, you're getting Anthony Davis, who's just a star.
Right. But there's a name you tossed in there, and this is a name I woke up thinking about. Paul George. Is there any way the Cavs could get him on a 1-year deal next year, knowing there's no other way to win a title?
He's not a free agent yet. He's got 1 year left in Indiana. So they'd have to wait. I mean, do you explore? I don't even know on the lines. I mean, the Cavaliers have nothing right now other than Kevin Love on their roster. And do you really want to give up Kevin Love? Kevin Love's been fantastic.
He's been really good. It seems like Kevin Love is the secret weapon on the Cavs, but it can't be at the expense of Kyrie.
And Indiana's not going to package a trade of Paul George surrounded, with Tristan Thompson as the centerpiece of a deal. I'll tell you that right now.
No, that's not going to buy tickets.
So Cleveland has, again, they're even if the Cavaliers do manage to win the series, they're going to have a lot of tinkering to do with the roster.
What is a move the Cavs could make, because this arms race is in full force?
It's hard to tell. I'm not going to even get there with the Cavaliers offseason until the series is over, because last year for the first 2 games we talked about Kevin Love obviously isn't the right fit for this team. Who are we going to trade Kevin Love for? Yeah. That's what the first 2 games were talking. After Game 4, that's what was discussed. When he came back from the concussion, it was who are the Cavaliers trading Kevin Love for this offseason in order to go out and beat this Golden State Warrior team. That was the discussion. 3 games later, he prevents Curry from taking the 3, and suddenly things change and they win a championship. So, again, it's still too early to determine the offseason for either team.
Okay. So
if Golden State wins, they're back to the drawing board. I mean, if Golden State loses, they're back to the drawing board. And if Cleveland is, they're back to the drawing board. I think Golden State's a very, very solid basketball team. I think they're much better than they were a year ago.
Yeah.
They have very few holes. And don't forget, despite what people say, Klay Thompson and Draymond Green have not been good this series for the first 2 games.
Nope.
Both been playing way under where they should be. And the problem is if all 4 of them get hot, we'll get roasted by 50. The goal is to keep those 2 at bay and get the rest of your team start performing because then you can beat Golden State.
Yeah, there's just been a lot of mental lapses. The calls aren't going our way. Missed open shots. I mean, it's just been one thing after the other with the Cavs. So,
but again, we've seen the Cavaliers completely flip a switch. Completely.
Yeah.
We've witnessed it 3 years in a row with this team. They go down one game, they lose by 30 points, and the next night they win by 40. I mean, they're Jekyll and Hyde. You just don't see anything like it from any other team other than the NBA, other than the Cavaliers.
I wonder why that is.
They're the most unpredictable team any given night, and you never know what to expect out of them. You really just can't expect anything, and you don't know what to expect. Every time I get my expectations up, I'm like, oh, they're going to win tonight. They're going to win. They get their asses kicked.
Why is that?
Brian, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. They're the team they're the team you never want to bet on.
But it doesn't go back to LeBron's Miami days, though, right?
Even in LeBron's Miami days, they had some. I mean, Brian, you go back and look at LeBron's Miami days. Why did it take him 7 games to get through the Celtics one year in the Eastern Conference Finals? They were a far superior team than Boston. They should have beaten them in 4.
Fair point.
They almost lost that series in 6 games to Boston. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, you witnessed the Indiana
Pacers took them to 7, right?
Yeah, the LeBron now would have never let that Indiana team go 6 or 7 games. They weren't that good of a team.
No, they weren't. But there's reason for optimism then. That's what I mean.
It's just I'm not going to sit here and hit the panic button just yet.
Okay.
Because until the Cavs go down 0-3, then we can hit the button.
All right.
But until then, you know what? All it takes is one win to get the hopes back up. To get everybody's hopes back up in the city. That's it.
All right. Well, then that works for me. I will remember last year through your time hop, all of the miserable stuff we were saying then, and that is kind of why a part of me is pretty zen right now. I'm not letting it get to me. I'm just chilling out. I'm enjoying the ride and hoping we can right the ship and play a near-perfect game and get the victory on Wednesday.
Yeah, I literally last year flipped out. I didn't even want to go to games 3 and 4. My sister's best friend flew in from L.A. last year to go to game 3. I pick her up at the airport. She brings me Fat Sal's, my favorite place from L.A., in a cooler. And I'm like, suddenly, okay, maybe game 3 will be better. I've got my good luck sandwiches with me, my 2,500 calorie sandwiches that I plowed down 2 in a night. And suddenly we won by 30 last year. So
yeah, Fat Sal's, they have that Thanksgiving sandwich with the leftovers, like the cranberry.
Fat Pilgrim.
I
know all my sandwiches. I've been going there since the day they opened.
I've still never been there, but it's on my list of things to do.
Right on Gailey, right by the In-N-Out in Westwood, and they got one on Fountain and Highland in Hollywood.
Got it. All right. Well,
my favorite spot. Even, it's still my favorite spot to this day in L.A.
Then see if they can deliver for Game 3. We could use the mojo.
I'd love them to deliver to Cleveland. So I just, it's a matter of right now is honestly, I think this team can get their act together. It's not like Cleveland's played such great basketball and they lost 2 games.
No.
And they lost 2 games. Someone's going to say, well, if we lose, I hope it's a close loss. And I said, no. I said, I don't even want to deal with that. I go, if we lose, I hope we get our asses kicked. It sends in I don't want to come so close and then lose by 2 points. It's basically a kick in the nuts.
Demoralizing, yeah.
It really is a kick in the nuts. If you sit there and you lose by 2 points on Golden State's home floor and going, God, we had it, but we couldn't close it out. It's like every game in the series last year up until Game 7 was a blowout. You almost feel better about being able to turn it off in the fourth quarter. Do you not?
Kind
Than watching there and pulling out your hair like you did 2 years ago in Game 1 that went in overtime and we lost.
Yeah, when they're bringing in James Jones and everybody else, you go, all right. Well, it wasn't our night tonight. On to the next one. That's why there's 7. It's not best out of 1, luckily.
Yep, exactly. It doesn't matter. Again, it doesn't matter if you lose by 1 point or you lose by 60 points. It's 1 game.
And there's that classic phrase, it's not a series until somebody loses on their home court.
Mm-hmm.
So, We have all the potential in the world. I think the energy is going to be great for the game. Are you going to be down there?
I will be down there.
All right. Well, be sure to report to us, and hopefully we can bring back that 2016 spirit and turn this thing back around, because it is just frustrating watching two bad games in a row.
Back on its feet.
One good game and we get things turned around. You're saying
one win and everybody will be back to normal in the city. I hate getting the text message. Everybody, I'm so down right now. I'm so bummed. I can't do this. Can't function. They sucked last night, and I'm like, I'm seriously thinking the same thing, but at the same time, said let's not get our hopes up. We went down 0-2 last year. We've got home court now for these next 2 games. Let's go and win them. Let's get back on our feet. You can win at home. We've seen it before. Anytime you have LeBron, don't ever count him out.
Yeah, maybe we can even get some of the calls right. I can't rely on just the calls. It's when you're losing by 20, it's more than just a couple of calls, but it really does change the momentum and the foul. Draymond having 5 versus having 6, or it makes a big difference. So we'll see. Hopefully we can get it squared away and bring the Cavs closer to a back-to-back championship, but they got to play a really good game all together, and we have yet to see it. So
that's what it's all about. I think you'll see them in Game 3. I think you'll see them put together a solid effort. If not, they're going home.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
They're staying home.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, if they go down 0-3, it'll be a sweep. If they go down 0-3.
Well, I'm gonna just go ahead and focus on that victory. V for victory.
It's all about winning Game 3. That's the only game that counts at this point. You win Game 3, and it's not over.
All right. Well, then I'll tell you what. How about you and I make a plan to reconnect the day after that game? Regardless, we'll talk on Thursday.
I'll talk to you Thursday.
All right. Cool. Well, Zach, thank you again for your time. I appreciate it. You have a good evening, sir. To be continued, and go Cavs.
Take care.
All right, everybody. So that was Zak Baris signing out from Cleveland, Ohio. Follow him on Twitter. He's at ZBaris. That's ZBaris. My name's Brian Engelman. I appreciate you checking out The Unhappy Hour. Like I said in the beginning, if you're not linked up with us in all the places, you need to. So there's places that we are. Instagram.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. There's a lot of politics there, but there's also there's cool stuff. There's a lot of different things. Gardening and street art and different stuff on Instagram page. On Facebook, facebook.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. A lot of politics, breaking events, breaking news, current events rather. But that special group, the Unhappy Hour Sports Radio Show, make sure that you're linked up with us. Do a search for that group, and if we can confirm you're an Indians, Cavs, Browns, Buckeye, or Blue Jacket fan, we'll let you into the club. YouTube.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. It's the second. It's one of only 2 places where we're monetized. So if you let the advertisements play, we get a few pennies tossed into our wishing well, and we appreciate it. YouTube.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. Click subscribe, leave your comments, share it with your friends. Where else? Twitter at American_media_. We'll leave it there for now. Thank you to Zach. No thank you to the Cavaliers yet, but I'm sure we're going to turn it around at home. It's going to be a different, hopefully a different experience and a different feeling, because it's not quite demoralizing, but it doesn't feel good being down 0-2. Luckily, where's that? We've seen it before. The Cavs can, if anybody can do it, we can do it. So I'm going to stay positive for this one. Until next time, go Cavs. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.